I think people would be hard-pressed to find maybe more busy individuals, and so I'm always so curious about what drew you to becoming jurors and why you dedicate so much time to the prize. And maybe I can have each of you talk a little bit about sort of how you got there and what do you find so important about the prize. Ernesto, do you mind starting us off?
Me? Okay, good evening. Well, first of all, it's a great honor to be part of the jury. So I didn't hesitate a single second when I was asked whether I would join the jury. Not only because it's great to be part of that group, probably I don't deserve to be part of it, but of course it's more about the task, this task of knowing about great people who care about humanity, and also to know about the problems that they endeavor to solve or to help to solve. So I think it's a great opportunity. So it's a privilege. So, I mean, there is nothing profound. It's just an honor and a privilege.
Zainab?
Well, first of all, hi, everyone. I was introduced to the Conrad Hilton because I was the first women's organization, the founder of the first women's organization to have won it in 2006, Women for Women International. And it was the first women's organization, the grassroots women's organization. And fast forward, here I am on the jury, and it's not only an honor, I feel it's a responsibility. I've been thinking I have more years under my belt working on the trenches in the ground with grassroots people. And a lot of people in this room are my people, right? Humanitarians who have dedicated themselves to servicing humanity. And I want to acknowledge, because with this, it's easy to celebrate everyone, but it's really, we don't spend enough time to talk about people, the sacrifices they do. I mean, look at our awardees today, Mine Advisory Group. They're clearing mines from people who actually manufactured them, made billions out of them, and everyone in the humanitarian sector barely get paid decent wage, right? And they're doing it with love for other humans, with love to Earth, with love for each other, for us, right? So it's a sector that is underestimated, undermined, underfunded, underappreciated constantly. And to quote Annie Lennox, when someone does good, she once said, when someone does good, you are to echo them and say, I hear you, I'm here with you, I'm here with you. And I feel like being in a jury, you know, from serving in war zones with Women for Women International to working with Women in Climate right now, it is an honor, it's a responsibility to actually appreciate not only the awardees, but the nominees and those who have not gotten nominated yet, because they are doing God's work, really.
Queen Noor.
Let me begin by saying something about what an enormous amount of work goes into the preparation for our jury meetings. The Hilton Foundation, Maggie Miller and her team, and before her, Judy Miller, put so much time and effort, analytic intensity, and actually field trips to visit all the different finalists, but also to go through hundreds of people who have been nominated. So we received the easy part, which is 10, give or take, finalists that have been thoroughly vetted through a very, very rigorous procedure. And yet we also have very stimulating and very often contentious conversations, though we are all bound by the same spirit, the spirit that we share with the Conrad Hilton Foundation through these processes to try to identify very difficult to do, to try to identify those who are having an impact, who are capable of making use of this prize, whose work will be enhanced and whose ability to make a difference in the world will be one that is truly truly impactful. I first came to know the Hilton Foundation when I spoke at a prize ceremony in 2000 and then again in 2002. These were two organizations that were both involved in conflict recovery, post-conflict recovery in different ways. And it's sort of completing a circle for this, on this occasion, for me to find that another post-conflict organization is going to benefit from the 30th anniversary, in which so many of the prize winners, prize laureates, have actually concentrated on trying to solve conflicts within communities, within families, within nations and between nations in all their work. And I think it's an enormously important and timely step that we're taking today to honor the 30th anniversary laureate that is doing so much of that work.
Kennedy?
Thank you. I just want to share quickly how I found myself on this table. So I grew up in one of the largest slums in Africa called Kibera, and I used to believe in international development. So I came to America with a very thick accent, and almost all the donors refused to give me money. I didn't understand why. And yet I come where we have the issues, right? So I get so angry, and I'm like, I am tired, but I'm not giving up. I'll keep on being authentic. I will not change my accent or do as they want me to do. So it was so sad, honestly. It was really terrible, right? I thought I wanted to do something for my community, but I was being told, it's called international development from the global north. It's really terrible. I won't lie to you. And then one day, the stone that the builder refused became the cornerstone. SHOFCO got in, and I'm like, what? I said this, for me it felt that our work is being seen. And the foundation told me something very interesting. We are not there to tell you what to do. We are here to recognize your work that you have done. And that's how I knew about the Hilton Humanitarian Foundation, and the prize. So I think for me it's really powerful that a slum boy is now part of the jury. Someone who was neglected by the foundations is now here. So it's dear to me to be able to support and find other voices to be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm dying to ask about some of the contentious discussions that you mentioned, but actually I'm curious so then what lands in front of you are just absolutely excellent candidates. How do you then choose? Go ahead.
How? Well, I said before that this is a great endeavor, but it's not easy. I like to say when I get with my friends to deliberate, this is like a Sophie's choice. Once we get the finalists and we learn even more about what those organizations have done, it is very hard to take a decision. I think only because we spend long hours looking again at the information, at the history of the work they have done, then we deliberate, and sometimes we start disagreeing, but after deliberation, we come to a conclusion that has been literally unanimous, at least since I have been in the jury. So it's not easy, but I think it's been done very well, other than my own work.
I think our composition is really diversified, from former presidents to grassroots people to a queen to people looking at the issue from a different perspective. And I have to say, you know, I'm a grassroots person. I believe that that unless the communities own the process of change themselves, the change cannot be lasting and cannot hold. But then I also learned in our intellectual wrestling, you know, and debates, that we actually have to value all interventions. That the big organizations are as important as the small organizations on the ground. That the organization that is based in the global south as important as the ones who are based in the global north. That our collaboration and exchanges is actually critical. So it's a growth to understand that the interventions has to come from different directions. And it can't come only from the different directions. So that is, you grow with the process. And I can assure everyone, when sometimes people say, we don't want to put you on the spot, but we want to know why we did not win. And my answer to everyone is, don't take it personally, because everyone is doing excellent work, truly. That there are different elements. And I have to say that I am as proud of our last year's awardees, Amazon Frontlines and Sabo Alliance, and for their important pivotal work, which continues to be very important, as the year before, Norwegian People's Council, as this year, as Canadians. Everyone is truly, when I see their work, I was like, wow, what a blessing to actually be part of their acknowledgement.
So then let's talk about the power of the prizes generally and the power of this prize. Kennedy, maybe I'll start with you. Talk to me a little bit about what doors it can open for people who get the prize.
I think for me, it's really, it is powerful. And I'll use my story. I was knocking many doors. They couldn't listen to me. But when the prize was bestowed on us, the door are now opening. Because the Hilton Foundation is really trusted. It has trusted partner. So when they shine the light on you, I remember our budget was only 4 million. After that prize, things start changing, right? So I'll say that they have done a very good job in the humanitarian sector, whereby if they find you, you must be special. And that's powerful.
Queen Noor, of course, the financial aspect is huge for many of these organizations, all of these organizations. But it was interesting to see last night the networking, the community actually that grows and supports new organizations that come in. Can you talk a little bit about that?
First of all, the different organizations that we assess vary in scale considerably and diversity of focus. And the material benefit of the prize will mean different things to different laureates. And we take all of that into consideration. As Zainab said, we often have discussions about local grassroots organizations and also the global organizations like the Landmines Advisory Group and the Norwegian Refugee Council and some of the others. And these are not defining characteristics of the finalists, but they are there are different factors which were discussed in the previous panel, which will have an impact, ongoing impact in terms of focus, in terms of for example, the prize winners this time, the Mine Advisory Group. Their work is going to benefit not just financially, but it's going to benefit immensely from refocusing attention on an issue that has kind of subsided over time. I've been involved in this issue for 50 years, and in different ways, because I came from I've been in a conflict region for over half my life in the Middle East, and the focus that they can bring, that the Hilton Foundation and MAG together can bring on the highlighting the fact that these weapons of mass destruction in slow motion are not an issue of the past, but they are actually an issue that is exponentially increasing in many respects as conflict is in various, both intrastate and interstate. So this, I think, is why this particular prize this year, we thought this is a globally challenged time for many reasons that others have mentioned, and therefore this particular group is entirely appropriate. And we have to reach consensus, as was mentioned. That is a requirement, even if it takes us weeks of jury meetings. Go on.
No, get it closer to you.
Oh, sorry.
Zainab, I'm curious, can you talk a little bit about the impact of the prize from your point of view? Yeah. And that same idea of, like, eventually you have to reach consensus at the end, no matter what?
And before that, I want to just piggyback on some of what Queen Noor was saying. This particular award, we actually had a lot of debate about the impact and the message that we want to say, that the importance that we are still living in a world that is producing mines and still planting mines. As someone, as someone who works on climate change, weapons and mines included stays in the earth for a century to clear, basically. And in that time, in that century, the grandchildren of the people who fought each other would have fallen in love and got married to each other. But the mine still kills everyone equally. So it has so many components, from climate change to people's health and safety, to prosperities in country, to peace in general. So I want to really just address the importance of their work. But as someone who wanted, as the first women's organization to have won it, is exactly what Kennedy said. It gives respect to the prize. It's exactly what Annie Lennox was saying, that when someone does good, say, I hear you, I hear you. And that acknowledgement, and the other panelists said people who do this work don't need the award. I think you said it about your father from BRAC, the late Sir Abid. It's true, but we need the safety. And this time, actually, there's a difference about organizations who are working on the front lines. We're finding something that has never happened to us before, which is safety. The safety of the people on the front lines of working on poverty or climate change or the protections of the land or the health or girls' education is being targeted at the moment. And so the Hilton Award Foundation gives so many impacts. Financially, of course, it unleashes a lot more resources, but it provides safety and protection that we are watching. The world is watching this group, and we want their safety and we want their protection.
And MAG is, just to add on to that very quickly, the Mines Advisory Group was working in one of the most conflict-ridden and humanitarian deprived parts of the world in Gaza, and has had to, and it's a testament as well to valuing your people, that you've had to stop your activities there to protect your people, and inshallah you'll be going back there and carrying on that very, very important work, as it is in so many other parts of the world.
Thank you so much, Queen. The Queen and I were discussing last time in London, and I just share with you a claim. I won't give the secret, I promise, no secrets, but I thought something important to share. When we were there, we are human beings. You have what in your head you think. It's like cardinals meeting to choose the pope. Waiting for the white smoke. But what I love about the juries, I love them so much for this. You come in with your thinking, but you become a listener. And we all listen and be like, okay, that's what you are thinking, but let's just listen. And interesting, what you thought you knew nothing. And you end up like, wow. So I would say, really, really, that was amazing. I'll say that. Thank you.
It's true.
Ernesto.
I would like, agreeing with everything that my colleagues have said, I would like to introduce, let's say, another dimension of the impact that, in my view, is particularly important at this moment in history. If you have an extra, somebody from another planet come to see the Earth, watch the news, they will say, well, this humanity or success for this humanity has to do with selfishness, even with cruelty. And we as a group, humanity, will be characterized as selfish and cruel. And that will be, I think, a totally wrong characterization of what humanity is all about. They will get that idea because that's what is apparent. That's what people who have the power seem to behave nowadays. And I will respond to those extraterrestrial beings. Why don't you look at the people who have won the Hilton Humanitarian Prize? And that's real humanity. That's what human beings are all about, to care for their families, to care for their communities, to care for human beings that are far away, suffering, enduring terrible conditions, and they provide not only their time, their effort, their lives, because most of those people could be doing something else with a much greater benefit for themselves. So I think nowadays it's even more important not only to look at the direct impact that the work of these awardees have, but also at the example that they provide for the rest of us. And I think that's why it's so important to have this celebration, because I think it's a celebration of humanity, of good humanity, not selfish and cruel humanity.
It's a beautiful way to wrap up our discussion. So thank you very much, and a big thank you to my panelists.